Welcome back to the Telford LDS French Fluency group. Today we're going to talk again about verbs and conjugation. Le passé composé. So what is le passé composé? It is a tense, and in French the word for tenses is le temps, which is handy, which just means the times. Tenses help us place the action of a verb or the state of being of something into a time frame. It helps tell us in a subtle way and a quick and easy way when things happened. So what time frame does le passé composé put a verb into? Well, it puts things into the past. It puts things into the past, and it tells us that whatever action was being performed is no longer being performed. But it doesn't tell us whether it happened in the recent past or in the distant past. Let's have a look at a couple of examples at the bottom of this screen. I have been. From that we know that I have been something that I am not anymore, but we don't know if I was that thing recently or if it was a long time ago. Same again with I am done. Whatever it was I was doing, I'm no longer doing, but in the past I did it. We don't know if it was a long time ago that I did it or if it was recently. The English name for the passé composé is the present perfect, but we don't need to know that. We just need to know how to make it and how to use it. So we make the present perfect tense by using two verbs together. We take the present tense of one helper verb and the verb that we're trying to place into the passé composé. We take the past participle and stick it on the end. What's a past participle, you may ask? Well, here are two examples. Been is the past participle for the verb to be. Done is the past participle for the verb to do. Made is the past participle for the verb to make. Run is the past participle for the verb to run, and we could go on. And so we take, as I said before, a helper verb, we put that into the present tense, and then we bolt the past participle onto the end, and that makes the present perfect tense. What's a helper verb? Well, a helper verb is a verb that is used by other verbs to create tenses that it can't create purely by itself. The main two helper verbs are to be and to have, in English and in French. And we conjugate them in the present tense. I have, I am, you are, and then add on the past participle. Let's have a look at how we make past participles in French. First we'll look at ER verbs, and we can use that pattern and reapply it for IR and RE verbs with a little variation, which we'll show you at the end. So, as with all verbs in French, when we conjugate it, we take the last two letters of the verb and we change them to something else. With regular ER verbs, we take away the ER and we add E, or an E with an accent aigu, as we see at the end of the first sentence here. Now, when we use the past participle of any verb with the helper verb être, that is to be, to represent a state of being, we must make the past participle agree with the subject of the sentence. What is the subject of the sentence? The subject of the sentence is the thing or the person that the sentence is speaking about. Often that's the personal pronoun, such as he, she, it, or we. So here we have some examples. He went, il est allé. Ils sont allés, they went. So if we look at he went, we can see that we have he is, il est, and then the past participle aller in the masculine singular form. So it's literally just the bare roots past participle. When we use that masculine past participle in the plural, we add an S on the end. If you look at ils sont allés, we can see that we've added the S just to make it clear to those who may be reading that we're talking about a group, more than one, and that past participle is linked to il and not some other noun in the sentence. If we look at the line underneath where we have the red examples, elle est allée, we can see that she went has an E on the end of aller. Elle est allée with a little E to show that it is feminine and singular. Therefore, we know that that past participle is making reference to elle and not another personal pronoun or other noun in the sentence. Again, we have the feminine plural, elle est allée, elles sont allées. So we have an E and an S to show that it is feminine and plural. That way we know it relates to elles or elles sont in the sentence. When we see things written down, if we're looking in a dictionary or online and we're looking up a new word, sometimes that word may be written as the one at the bottom in blue. Aller, parentheses, E, closing parentheses. This just shows us that this verb needs to make agreement when used with the auxiliary verb or helper verb to be. Okay, let's have a look at this in practice. We've looked a lot at the verb aimer, which is a regular ER verb. In the middle column here, we have aimer conjugated in the present tense. I love, you love, he loves, j'aime, tu aimes, il aime. But then on the right hand side, we have it conjugated in le passé composé. I have loved, you have loved, he has loved, j'ai aimé, tu as aimé, il a aimé, nous avons aimé, vous avez aimé, ils sont aimés. We can see the pattern. It's very clear. Okay, so using that pattern, practice a little on the following verbs, which are all regular ER verbs, which use avoir or to have as their helper verb. Write them down on a piece of paper and try and conjugate each one for each personal pronoun in le passé composé and say it out loud. Okay, another example, this time with the verb aller, to go. Aller uses être as its helper verb, and just as with aimer, we have aller conjugated in the present tense. Je vais, I go, tu vas, you go, il va, he goes, in the middle, and on the right hand side we have it conjugated in le passé composé, using être in the present tense. Je suis, tu es, il est. So, as an example, I'll just read those out. Je suis allé, I went, tu es allé, you went, il est allé, he went, nous sommes allés, we went, vous êtes allés, you went, plural, ils sont allés, they went, masculine and plural. Here we have an example with aller to show agreement. On the left hand side we have the masculine conjugation of le passé composé for the verb aller. On the right hand side we have the feminine conjugation, and let's just read these out and give an example for each one. We know here that we're talking about, that this is a man talking about himself. Je suis allé. And we know here that somebody is talking to a man. Tu es allé. You went. and underneath we know that somebody is talking about a man. He went, il est allé. And here we know that a group of people are talking, a group of men are talking about themselves, saying that we went, nous sommes allés. Here we know that someone is talking to a group of men, vous êtes allés. And here we know that someone is talking about a group of men, ils sont allés. Notice how in the plural there is an S on the end of each allé to show that this is a group. In the feminine, you might notice that they all have an E after the E, and that the plural ones, nous, vous, and elles, have an S at the end as well. So, je suis allé, tu es allé, elle est allée, nous sommes allés, vous êtes allés, elles sont allées. You might also notice that when we speak them out, they don't sound very different. They rarely do unless we have to use liaison or something with a vowel. So, again, we need to practice. Here's a list of verbs which use être or to be as their helper verb. See if you can write them down, practice writing them down and conjugating them in le passé composé. So, I said that at the end we would look at how to make past participles for all three groups, ER, IR and RE, are the three groups of verbs in French. So, again, for each one we change the last two letters of the infinitive of the verb. We've already seen that to do that with ER verbs, we take away the ER and we add an E. If we need to accord it with gender, then we use an E and S for plural. With IR verbs, instead of adding an E, we add an I. And with RE verbs, we add a U. You'll notice that these all, when they're used with the verb to be, need to agree the gender. We've got some examples here. So an ER verb, passé, an IR verb, partir, to leave, passé is to pass, an rendre, to render or to give back, rendu. So passé, the past participle is passé, partir, to leave, the past participle is parti, and rendre, to give back, the past participle is rendu. Avoir, être, and pouvoir are different. They don't follow the regular rules, and they are irregular verbs. So the past participle for avoir, or to have, is eu. The past participle for être, or to be, is été. And the past participle for pouvoir, to be able to, is pu. So, let's practice. Using Google or a dictionary, translate and form the passé composé on paper for the following verbs: pouvoir, souvenir, être, avoir, arrêter. Post your results to session 2 on the Facebook group. Voilà, c'est la fin. Bon courage.